is Sarah. Welcome to the It's a Sarah podcast. Today it is Monday, June 12th, and this is episode 68. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I love talking about my knits and crochet so much that I make episodes twice a week, every Monday and every Friday. And I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English, but I make my episodes in Dutch and in English, so be sure you pick the right one. Okay, let's start. I want to share my crafty adventures with you from this weekend. And I think the main result of my crafty adventures is my latest finished object. I have a finished object. I had no idea. Last Friday I was wondering if I could make a little challenge of finishing this sweater, this jumper in a week. But it is finished already. I don't know when it happened. Yeah, I do know. Of course I know. I did crochet quite a lot this weekend. It's very warm and hot weather in the Netherlands. So it's really, I'm gonna talk about this little jumper, this little summer jumper, and then I will put it out because it's way too hot to wear it now. I'm in our living room right now. It's a little bit dark here because I want to keep all the sun out. We have quite big windows, and that's very nice on a grey and dark day, but on a hot and sunny day, you want to keep the sun out as much as possible. So the sunscreens are all down, and I think the light's okay, but maybe a bit weird, I don't know. But it's very hot, so all the doors and windows are closed, and I'm mainly sitting in front of my fan. I think that's a weird word, fan. For a ventilator. I'm sitting in front of my fan, but I put it out because it makes too much noise, I guess. So I'm getting a bit hot right now. But okay, I really am really in love with this new garment in my wardrobe. This is the Lowrider jumper. It's the latest pattern from the Iron Lamp. Claudine is her name. I think she's from the UK. And from the moment I saw the first picture of this pattern, I felt in love. I thought, this one is made for me, because it was a combination of my favorite stitch, the granny stitch, the little granny stitch, the double crochets or the treble crochets. In different terms, in UK and US terms, but in Dutch we call them stokjes. That sounds much sweeter, I guess. Little stokjes. The clusters of 3 stokjes you call the granny stitch, and my love for the granny stitch is very deep. It's my first crafty love. It's my first real true crochet love. This is the reason why I am here right now. This is the reason how I come at where I am. Oh, I think I heard something. I don't know if my daughter is coming home. I don't know. I think it's too early for that, but you never know. But I really love the granny stitch. I love it so much. I made so much with the granny stitch already, and I still am working on granny squares and granny stripes, whatever. And it's really, I think, maybe the most heart jumping thing for me in crafting, maybe in general in all my life. That sounds I think, yeah, can it be? I have a very lovely life, but making the granny stitch is one of the heart jumping things in my life. Oh yeah. It doesn't have to be hard. You can have simple heart jumping things. But also the combination with a deep scoop neck. I didn't know you call it like that, a deep scoop neck. I love the name, but I am a big fan. That's why I think the word fan is so weird for a ventilator. I have other thoughts by the word fan, but they can be next to each other, of course. In Dutch we also have words with several meanings. I think. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I mean. I think. But the deep scoop neckline, I'm really a lover of lower necklines. I need some space here. And I already knew the patterns from Claudine, the granny go round sweater or jumper and cardigan, and I really love them because I'm a granny lover, a granny stitch lover. But the shape of the neckline was not my kind of taste. And when I saw this, I thought, she made it for me. She didn't, but it felt like she did, so I really loved that. And I saw, the first picture I saw was a plain white one, and I was really charmed about that, and that surprised me because I really love to play with colors, with the granny squares and the granny stripes and the granny stitch. But the plain one was also looking very nice to me. And when I was thinking about it, I thought I want to have a plain one and a colorful one. So let's start with the plain one, because when I start a new work in progress, I quite often start over several times. It almost never happens that it's going right in one time. And that's okay. In the beginning, I was a bit annoyed about that, but later I learned that that's my style. Learning while I'm doing it, and I never read pattern before I start. I just follow it, and sometimes I think, oh, I did a mistake. I didn't knew this, and I could have known when I read it before I started, but that's not my style, so that's okay. So I rip out and start over again until I'm happy, and that works out pretty good because I'm quite often very happy with what I make. So, and I am today. I am so happy. I also realized, I discovered I love to make things with a lot of color. My favorite color is brown, and I really love the natural tones, the neutral tones, the neutral colors. But when I would always make everything in those colors, I would be bored. I also love the bright colored things, and I used to work a lot more with bright colors. But I really need some colorful projects in my life, but I prefer to wear the calm and easy and simple things. Every now and then I love to wear a bright sweater or a bright cardigan, but I mainly love to wear these kind of things. So I thought, okay, when I do them both, let's start with the plain one with the solid color, because then I can rip out and start over again more easily than when I work with different colors. And I did start over again twice, I guess, maybe 3 times. I struggled a little bit with the cast on. She had, I don't know the term, but the pattern is not, it's there. There is a way to start a crochet project. Also, when you start, for example, a granny stripe blanket and you start with a lot of chains. My granny stripe blanket, I think I have 270 chains, if I remember correctly. When you crochet them too tight, you cast on is too tight, and that's not good for the blanket, because it will stretch out a bit while you're crocheting with a very tight cast on. And I don't really, I did have that problem when I was a beginner crocheter, but I don't have it now anymore, because I really know when I pick a bigger hook needle. In Dutch we say haaknaald, breinaald, knitting needle, and haaknaald, hook needle. But I think in English you don't say hook needle, you just say hook. You are lazy people. No, that's a joke. I pick a bigger hook and do my chains quite loosely, so there's no problem. But Claudine explained a way to. You have a way for crocheting the double crochets, the stokjes, as you go. So you have a first row with stokjes as you go, and which stretches out more, so you don't have the tight cast on. And she also uses for the neckline, for the back, because it's a top-down jumper, and the first part you crochet back and forth, because you have to create a low neckline, and at some point you can go in the round. But she explained it very well, and also with a YouTube tutorial. So you should think it couldn't go wrong, but then you don't know Sarah. I was doing that on a late Friday night a few weeks ago, and I was tired, and I was crocheting with Holst Coast, Hold Double, and it didn't work out. It was a mess. So I did my own way, just do the chains and then the single crochets, and that worked out also. For the neckline, I told you to get again to do I don't know how it calls. I'm sorry, it's in the pattern, and I did it then, and it was quite easy. So it wasn't hard at all, but it was just not a good moment when I cast it on. But I didn't want to put away the whole jumper. I just want to cast on. I just didn't want to learn new things at that point. I just want to crochet the jumper. So that was okay, and I learned it afterwards anyway. This yarn is very nice for this jumper. It is a mix of 55% wool and 45% cotton. I bought it secondhand in the Netherlands from a knitting friend, and there's a knitting and crochet, Dutch knitter and crocheter, and she had this lovely idea. She made an Instagram account, and it's called Ons Garenschuurtje. In English, you can translate it as our yarn barn, and people can sell their yarns that they don't use anymore, or whatever, little leftovers, for lower prices with other people. So that's very nice. And I was actually I don't buy any yarn in 2023, but I saw this one and another cone and a skein. A skein and a cone makes a scone. I love scones too. I love skeins, I love cones, and I love scones. Yeah. Another cone too, and I really loved, I did it. And I was knitting my second current cardigan, but it didn't work out, and I couldn't understand why. But now I know, I think this yarn just wanted to be this tiny jumper, summer jumper, because I am so happy with it. Mine is a little bit tighter, has a little bit of a tighter fit. I prefer a tighter fit because above some positive ease, some oversized look. That's not my look. I really love it at other people, but not on my body and my combination with dresses and skirts. But my gauge was a little bit off. I think you should have 9 clusters per 10 centimeters, and I had a little bit less. I don't know exactly the numbers, but I also went down 1 needle size because I think I'm also a loose crocheter, so I just always go down 1 needle size with everything I do. And I really love the look of the stitch, and the fit is perfect for me right now. It's really perfect. I love it. It's just my jumper. It's just, I wanted this in my life. So I crocheted it, and it was a really lovely pattern with a raglan at the arms. She recommends to use a stitch marker. I didn't do that because I hate using stitch markers when I'm crocheting. I just paid enough attention, and then it worked out pretty good too. I crocheted not really a bit longer cropped. Long cropped, because when I make my sweaters really cropped, they are perfect on my dresses, but they are a bit too short on my linen skirts, and I wanted this to wear on both. So it's a bit in between. I think 40 centimeters from the center back to no, I didn't count the ribbing with it, but it's the perfect length for both. And then I decided I want short sleeves. The pattern is with longer sleeves. You have 2 options. You can choose the tapered sleeves. Do you say tapered in English? I guess. But you can also make very wide vintage looking sleeves with granny squares. I love that, but I think, nah, they are nothing for me. I'm too clumsy. I could only sit so all day. Maybe knitting, yeah, you can put your yarn in there, but when doing things in the house with those sleeves, but maybe it's not a wear everyday jumper then, it's a go out jumper. But I decided to make short sleeves for several reasons. I love to be this one finished, I have to be honest. But it was not the main reason, but it was really a nice thing when I made short sleeve. When I would make short sleeves, then I was ready quite early. Although I don't think the sleeves would take so much time. Crocheting is much more faster for me than knitting, because I thought I was knitting, I had to knit almost all the body. And when I would knit it in stockinette, it would take me quite some time on 3.5 needles, but crocheting is going very fast. So I was knitting Friday night, we were looking a very long movie, 3-hour movie. I'm not really a movie watcher, but when we were watching and I could crochet, I was going so fast. And then I went to bed way too late, because my eldest daughter, she was in town with friends, and normally she's with her boyfriend and they come home together, but now she was alone, and I really want to pay attention to her way to go home in the middle of the night, so I was sure she was home safe. So I thought, could I say, we had an appointment that she would call when she was going home. So we were aware of her bicycle ride through town in the middle of night. But then I suddenly thought, I can also stay up and crochet all night. And when I started thinking that, I couldn't stop thinking that. My husband said, "You are crazy. Go back." I'm not an evening person. I'm really an early bird, an early morning person, and I go to bed a little bit too late every day because of the children. They are teenagers, and I just they don't want me to stay up. That's not the problem. But when they are working and they came home at 10 or 10:30 in the night, I just stay up and do a little chat, and then I go to bed. But it's actually a little bit 1 hour too late for what's nice for me. But it's okay. It's okay. But now it was how do you say it? 30 minutes a.m. It was you have 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, and then 30 minutes later. I don't know how you say it. But then I was so tired that I went to bed, and 1 hour later she called, "I'm coming home." So I went downstairs again and was waiting. So I was in bed at 2 o'clock, middle of the night, but at 6 o'clock I was awake. Ploing! As if there is an on button, someone's pressing my button, and I'm starting like a computer, and there's no way you can stop that process. So I thought, "Ploink, I'm awake, and no, I don't want to. I have to sleep. I only had a few hours sleep, and I had all the time to sleep. There was all the time." But Sarah can't sleep in the morning, so and it was okay. It was okay, but. Yeah, sleeping. I'm a very good sleeper. I sleep a little bit too less, but always very good. So I don't know why I'm telling this. Oh, that's the reason why I made so much progress. Yeah, I'm getting really warm. So let's go on to what's really important. I did knit the borders, and the pattern tells you to crochet them. But last year I made the Ariana cardigan, and for me that was such a pleasure that my two big loves came together, the love for crochet and the love for knitting, and that I can use them both in one project really makes me happy. I was a crocheter when I started crafting, and then I learned knitting, and I prefer the stockinette fabric and from knitting above the crocheted fabric for garments. So I was thinking about crocheting garments at all. And the last few years there are a lot of nice crochet patterns for garments too. But I was not really interested because I want to knit everything. But then I discovered the Ariana cardigan, and I was really happy. And now I thought, oh, I can do knitted borders too. And I love it. Picking up stitches in crochet is quite easy. I used a 2.5 millimeter needle, not in the beginning, of course, because why should I do it right in one time? I know I could see in my notes that for Holst Coast, the ribbing, I needed 2.5 millimeter needles. That was my experience in earlier projects, but my needle was busy. So I thought maybe it will work out on 2.75 too. No, Sarah, of course it didn't work out. So I had to rip out the border and knit it again. Every now and then I wonder why I don't do the easy things immediately, why I always have to take the longer way to get to where I want to be. But okay, I accepted that, mainly. So I did. Oh, and also the sleeves. I decided I wanted short sleeves because I need a short sleeved summer top. No, you call it tee. A summer tee more than a sweater. And I really want to wear this. It's too hot for it now. It's 32 degrees outside right now. So I will put it out in a minute. But when it's a little bit cooler, I can wear this perfectly every day, I guess. The sleeves, I did make the sleeves and then I decided that they were too short because I could see, I Google translated, I could see my chicken breasts. I don't know if you call it like that in English too, in other countries, but we ladies, mainly the ladies, the Dutch ladies, we have that little funny name for our underarm. We say these are our chicken breasts, and you know what I mean. They look a bit like a chicken breast, and most ladies don't want to show their chicken breasts quite obviously, and I am perfectly fine with my body and how it is, but I also like to say that these are my knitting and crochet muscles. Knitting and crochet muscles hang at the bottom of your arms. They are not at the top. A few years ago, I went to the gym quite often, 3 times in the week, and I was putting up all the heavy things and did all the exercises. And after I did it for 1 year, I guess, after 1 year, I had a very tight arms and you could see my muscles, and also my butt was looking very good, but the only thing I could think of was, why am I doing this? I don't like it at all. So it's good to take care of your body in a good way. I really think that too, but all the gym and all the things and all and then I couldn't enjoy the effect it had on my body because I don't have to have a tight butt. Do you say it? A tight butt? It sounds a bit weird. And I don't mind having chicken breasts under my arms. So I could use all the time I spend in the gym for knitting and crocheting. And that's much more what I like to do. So I quit the gym. I don't do gym. I do exercise a lot. I walk a lot. I bike a lot, so that's perfectly fine. And I knit a lot. We all do. So these are my knitting muscles, and in Dutch we call them chicken breasts. But I want to hide them a little bit, so they are safe and warm, and they are also white. They don't get a lot of sun, so we don't want them to be burned. Burnt chicken breasts under your arm. We don't want that. So I added 4 rows to the sleeves. So in total, I added 8 rows and I did 2 decreases. And you can see that in the pattern how it works out. And yeah, I'm really happy. I did a regular bind off everywhere. And I really love the look of the regular bind off. I love that look the most, but it is a bit of a tighter bind off, and for the neckline I used a 3mm needle because that was okay when it was a little bit tighter. For the arms and the bottom I used a 5mm needle, and there is an end to the stretch, and I don't really love the feeling of that. I want it can be stretched out limitless. and now it's really now you reach the line, and I don't like to reach lines, but the look is better, so I think I'm okay with it. I am gonna put this thing out quite soon. that's better. It's getting really hot. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now. 1 p.m. is it now? And it's hot, hot, hot. But the Lowrider jumper, I can absolutely recommend the pattern. There are 2 versions, one with the UK terms, crochet terms, and one with the US crochet terms. I now use the UK one, and when I will make it the next time, I will use the US one. But I'm so familiar with this stitch that I hardly paid attention to it. It was just the beginning, so so I understand what I had to do. But I really, really, really love this Lowrider jumper, and I'm really obsessed by all the designs from Claudine from the Iron Lamp at the moment. She posted a picture of her coming design, a little tiny summer top. A white one too, with a scalloped edge and a V-shaped neckline. And when that pattern comes out, I will buy it immediately and cast it on immediately. I want a brown one. And also one of my knitting friends found a free pattern on the Instagram account of Claudine for a granny square summer top, and I also love that one. So I'm really I want them all. But I will definitely make a striped one with several colors, and I think I also will make a solid one with long sleeves in a woolly yarn later. But it's really a fun pattern. So, okay, I'm wearing my Hinterland dress now, and I was a bit worried. It's quite thick linen, and that was perfect for in winter and on cooler days. But when it was so warm, I was a bit worried that it would be too thick, too warm. So I put on my thinner linen skirts, but I missed my Hinterland dresses. So this morning I thought I will try it, and it's perfect because it's quite white, it's quite airy, and I was on my bike this morning and all the wind blew through and it was really nice. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. I didn't make them myself. I'm a bad sewer. I don't want to make them myself good enough, I guess. When you really want something, you can learn new things, but I don't want to learn it. But I have a lovely knitting friend living around the corner, and she finished them for me, and I'm very happy with them. Okay, my next project, I finished the jumper yesterday and I didn't cast on my project by then, but I will do it maybe this afternoon or tomorrow, I don't know. But it will be the Remi camisole I was wearing last Friday. I will make it in a black cotton yarn. It's a brand I don't know, Scanfil. I bought several yarn balls on holiday in brown and black, and it's really nice, really nice cotton. I think it's more a worsted weight than a DK weight because it's 50 grams, 75 meters. So I don't know how it will work out. I will try a little bit, and maybe I will cast on a smaller size. We shall see. But I really want to have the Remi camisole in black in my wardrobe, so I will cast on this very, very soon. It's nice to also work on a summer project when the weather is so summery. But I also casted on quite some projects on my mini holiday, and I like to work on my projects in different ways, and it's always every now and then I really prefer to work on one project and to put all my focus in that project, and so it works. It grows very fast, and you call it, I think, monogamous. I love to knit or crochet monogamous every now and then, but I also love to have a lot of projects on my needle. So when my main project is on a hard point or I can't work, I always have something to pick up. And so last week I casted on quite some things, and that's absolutely okay, but I don't like them just laying without moving, without growing, that there is not happening a lot. So for example, I had this sock I casted this on my mini holiday. It's the newest pattern of a Dutch sock, a Dutch designer, quite a new designer. Her name is Ineke Voskamp, and her Instagram name, and I think also her Ravelry name, is Luna Ster Knit. And I am making these socks. She gifted the pattern to me. It's the It'll Be Okay sock. And it's really a lovely pattern with a lovely front lace panel. It's not hard, it's quite easy. The back is in knit 2 purl 2, and that's absolutely my favorite. And on my mini holiday, I was looking with which yarn I would knit it, and I really prefer this yarn. It's also Dutch yarn, although I don't know if it's Dutch yarn, but it's dyed by a Dutch dyer in the color Red Tiger Eye. It's from Atelier Lindelicht, and it's sock yarn with silk and Remi. That's a nettle fiber. And I made my Tolsta tee also in this, and I had one skein left, so I made this one. But there was not happening a lot with this sock the last week since I was home. So now I made a sock planning. I did that before, and it's just for fun. It's just playing. I love to play. And I love to use my crochet and knitting works for playing. So every now and then I make all kinds of rules, and they make me feel good. And sometimes I use the rules so I can practice my willpower or practice my discipline. And also sometimes I use my rules to break them, because I am a rule breaker every now and then too. So I love to follow rules and I love to break rules both. And you give both parts of yourself space, isn't it? So I don't know what will happen now, but I made a planning. I've written down the days and the rows I will knit. So mostly 10 rows or a part of the heel. And then when I follow this planning, it are small steps, really small steps, because I can finish the sock in 1 or 2 days, but that's not what I want. But I want to keep it moving, because when it's laying down, it's feeling heavy. And when it's moving, when it's growing a little bit every day, it gives me energy. Maybe that's it. When it's laying down, it costs me energy. And when it's moving and growing, it gives me energy. And I want to give my crafting, want that it gives me energy. So I made a very easy and relaxed planning with small steps, and I skipped some days because I know that those will be busy days, dizzy ways. And when I follow my planning and when it's working correctly, I should finish this sock on Sunday, 25 of June. So that's really a relaxed planning. And I only made it for sock 1, so maybe I am bored already when I finish the sock. Maybe I will finish it in 2 days when my rule breaker Sarah is involved. I don't know what will happen, but it's just for fun. I like to play. I like to fool myself every now and then, and yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy my crafting. I don't know, this way. Yeah, just having fun. So also, I showed you my Ariana cardigan. I start my every morning with a hard jumping activity, making a granny square for my Ariana cardigan. So it's growing very slow because I do 1 square every day. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Oh, that's the back side? No, it's the front side. I love it so much. Oh, I don't know if I will make a sweater or a cardigan from it. I'm thinking of a cardigan right now, but I don't know. I don't have to decide now. But every morning I start with a tiny square with all my scrappy sock yarn. So no color coordination, just let it happen. And it's really a hard jumping activity. And when I start my day with a hard jumping thing, with doing a hard jumping thing, I'm immediately in a really nice and high and positive energy, and that's really nice to start your day that way. I was thinking about ending my day that way because I have another granny stitch project, and I thought, how cool would it be when I begin every day with a hard jumping activity, and I end every day with a hard jumping activity. So my granny stripes blanket was also not. It was laying in my basket and there was not happening much. And I thought I want this to be growing slowly. It doesn't. I don't have to hurry. It's just for fun. But then I decided that it would be my go to bed Sarah blanket. So. As I said, I think it's quite hard to go to bed when everyone's around, and just there are always so many possibilities to do in the late evening. So I thought, when I make a go to bed blanket, go to bed Sarah blanket, then I just crochet a little bit. It doesn't matter if it's a half a row or 1 row or 6 rows, doesn't matter. But this is the last thing I will do. So after that, I won't check my phone anymore. Before I start this blanket, everything's clean and nice, and I just go straight to bed when I put away this blanket. So I begin my day with a hard jumping activity, and I end my day with a hard jumping activity. So yeah, I don't know. Yesterday evening was the first time, and I really enjoyed it. So we shall see how it works out. Okay, then the last thing. Normally I attach my square every day, and I also weave in the ends. In my Dutch episode, I found out that you have 12 yarn ends for every square, the way I do it. There was a question about weaving in the ends. I got a lot of questions about weaving in the ends. So I decided that I would film how I weave in the ends, and I don't do anything special. So it's also not a tutorial, it's just a how does Sarah do it way. And I tried to experience a little bit when I made my first Ariana cardigan, because I really didn't want to weave in all those ends. And I was looking for a nice way. Can you weave in yarn ends as you go when you're crocheting? I could find some, but they were not really working for me. And then I tried some ways myself, holding the yarn double, but it was also not really working out. It was not looking very good. It was staying okay, but it was not, yeah. I decided just weave in the ends. And the only thing that's really helping me is to not bother weaving ends. You can choose that you don't think that's an annoying activity. You can choose that you love weaving in yarn ends. And when you are making an Ariana cardigan, it's really helpful to say to yourself, "Oh, I love weaving in yarn ends," because I found out I have to weave in 270 yarn ends. So I'm such a happy person. I love weaving in yarn ends, and I can do 270. Lucky me. So yeah. So I will share some of my lucky activity with you in a minute, so you can see how I do it. And yeah, I'm absolutely fine with that and absolutely okay. And they will stay quite good. They will last quite good. I crocheted so many projects over the years, and the only thing sometimes happens, I will grab something, is this is a big and huge pillow, and that's the inner circle of the crochet. Sometimes it breaks the yarn and they are loose, but you can quite easily with a needle attach some new yarn and sew it through the loops and tie it together. And it's not actually these have to be at the back side, but they sneak out every time. They are just curious yarn ends, but I don't want to cut them, and then it's okay. So that's actually the only thing that every now and then, and it doesn't happen often, will get loose. Yeah, so I always do a double tie, and then I crochet a little bit over the yarn ends, and then I weave it in with my needle. But I will show it to you. Okay, now the last thing I want to say to you is a big thank you for all the lovely comments I received on my latest episode. They were heartwarming, and I think my heart was warm of all the jumping because I also thought I can never feel bad again, because every time I feel a bit sad or grumpy, I just will read the comments and it will disappear, that feeling. It was really so lovely, so nice to read, and it's for me it's quite amazing, all the lovely words you share with me. It is I do this just for fun. I love talking about my crochet and knit so much that I would do this when no one was looking. I guess I would be happy too, but it's so nice to experience that when you are having fun, other people also think it's fun. They get inspired in all the different ways, or they love to watch at you, and it's really amazing how it works. And I totally understand how it works, because I have the same experience with other people, and it doesn't matter what, but when someone's having fun, it's nice to be a part of it, of to look at it. And it cannot all be when I am in a store and the person in the store is having fun, I also am getting happy. So it's all in life. So I think the main important for all the people, for us, is do as much as you can do in which you are having fun, as much hard jumping things you can do, because when you are having fun, other people are having fun with you, and that's really nice. I feel really connected, and I really want to thank you so much. You made me very happy. Okay, I wish you a very nice and a very nice week with a lot of crochet and knit, or whatever you love to do, and I will see you this Friday. Bye bye!